The fourth location we're going to visit today is John Rankin's house. But before we go there, we're going to learn about a cool new layer of Google Earth, and that's the weather. And it allows us to see what the current weather conditions are and may have been like back in the 1860s when we're learning about. So the first thing is we'll go to John Rankin's house, and so there was a lot of conflict between the North and the South, and the responses of individuals concerning the political conflicts varied greatly depending where they lived and depending on what their political positions were. To help you better understand what these different positions may have been, I found a movie that helps explain the different ideas individuals held and a little bit about the Underground Railroad. So I'd like you to go ahead and explore and watch this short video, and then we'll come back together. All right, now that you've had a chance to watch the video, how did each of the groups of people react and respond to the conflict of the day? We might say that the abolitionists were against slavery and were those helping slaves use the Underground Railroad to escape to freedom and up to Canada. The slaveholders, in contrast, were very angry and wanted their slaves to stay and complete the work of harvesting tobacco and cotton. Like we've talked about, we know that that's a very important factor of the war. And the slaves themselves clearly wanted freedom and were thankful for the Underground Railroad. So those are just a couple ideas. As you have had an opportunity to discuss these different views with the class and just to think about them by yourself, I would like you to pick one of the groups of people that we've just discussed and write a journal entry conveying the emotions that they may have felt and the beliefs that they may have held.
About me, and I'll see if I can understand what you're saying.
So John Rankin's house was one of the most famous stops in the Underground Railroad. These are some pictures of his house back in the day, one of the older photos and a current photo of his house. These sites allow you to go learn more about John Rankin, as well as the role that the Underground Railroad plays. So I'll give you an opportunity to explore those. This first one just gives you basic information about Rankin's life and why his family was so supportive of the Underground Railroad movement and the success they had in helping slaves. This other website this other resource gives you more information about the Underground Railroad and the importance of that. So you will have time to go ahead and read that and discuss it with your groups as well. So when you've had an opportunity to explore these sites, we will go back to Google Earth and kind of look at our weather and layers again and explore the landscape surrounding Rankin's home. So I want you to pay special attention to the geography and the surrounding location. So think about what the current weather is, what time of year we're at. We're in the middle to end of February. And I want you to think about whether slaves would have access to this home. We learned in the movie that they had to travel this route, part of the route during the winter, so they could cross the river while it was ice. Maybe think about, would that still be possible if the Underground Railroad were going today? Could you cross it now? We're going to use the surrounding photos as evidence and think about why the house would be in a good location or a bad location as an Underground Railroad source. So we'll zoom on in. As you saw, there's lots of clouds. If we look at our radar, it almost looks like we're in the middle of a storm right here. So as we zoom in, we see that it's raining and it's about 49 degrees, which is a little bit too cold or warm for frozen rivers and snow. So based off of that observation, we could probably say that it wouldn't be possible or reasonable for slaves to try to access this railroad site at this time. If we get down into the street view of the Rankin house, even today, in current times, you can see that there's not very much surrounding the location. There's no other houses in the immediate area, and there's largely surrounded by land. If we look at the photos, they give you different perspectives of the house, and you can kind of see in the background that there's nothing around. There's trees, and just large open spaces. What I would like you to do now is to write an opinion piece regarding whether you think that John Rankin's house was, or was not a good ideal stop for the Underground Railroad. So make sure that you introduce your topic clearly and state your opinion. Make sure that you include reasons for why you believe what you believe, and then make sure you provide a concluding statement that supports your overall idea and thesis.